What were Ray Vernon's contributions to the theory of the multinational corporation? Well, Ray Vernon was an economist and business scholar at the Harvard Business School, who wrote in 1966 a paper that put forward the so-called international product life cycle theory. Ray Vernon originally worked as a diplomat, took part, for example, in the development of the Marshall Plan for Europe, and also was one of the key figures in the post-Second World War international financial and trade architecture, including formation of the International Monetary Fund. Well, what was the contribution of Ray Vernon to the field of international business and the theory of the multinational corporation? I would say first, while scholars such as Steve Hymer have created and developed the concepts of ownership advantages, Ray Vernon went a little deeper and looked into the origins of these ownership advantages. So it was not just saying that these might be technologies or managerial skills, but going deeper into the innovation part of it. And that, as you observed with the US corporations, the MNCs that were rising after the Second World War, it was often groundbreaking innovations that they created in the US, and then they tried to exploit those advantages in foreign markets, in particular in Western Europe at that stage. So Vernon's contribution was looking into the origin of ownership advantages and link them to the concepts of technology leaders and technology laggards. The US at the time in 1950s, 60s was a technology leading nations coming up with a lot of groundbreaking innovations that they initially exported to foreign markets, but later on some foreign countries such as Western Germany at that stage, or later on Japan, caught on, and as the product life cycle matured, the innovations created in the US were in a way copied or compromised somewhat by the competitors from other countries. And in some cases, the US ended up importing the same product that they originally invented. Say the rise of the Japanese car industry is a good example. Now, the second and probably the most fundamental contribution of Ray Vernon was to actually develop a dynamic theory of the multinational corporation. While initial and existing theories in international trade, such as comparative advantage, were sharing some of the common ground in looking country level determinants of comparative and competitive advantages of firms from a country, Ray Vernon looked over time as how these advantages change and how, as products mature, often it might be more important to be cost efficient, and then competitors from countries with lower costs of production often might outcompete you, or it might make sense, say for, in this case, US companies, to locate the foreign production capacities for an innovative product in a foreign country. So he looked in changes in comparative advantage and competitive advantage of firms in international production, and was probably first to link international trade and allocation of activities of foreign firms. So that aspect of where do firms locate their FDI was quite an important, perhaps last contribution that he actually broke path towards the analysis of the location determinants of foreign direct investment. It's also important to know that Ray Vernon and the Harvard Business School created a huge data set of US firms and their operations abroad. And so this was a bit more microeconomical or business approach to analyzing FDI and MNCs based on the real data from companies.